The Archbishop of Canterbury, who will preside over the Queen's funeral on Monday, helped support Her Majesty when her own husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, passed away peacefully last year. Thousands are expected to line the streets of London on Monday for the first state funeral in decades, as Britain, the Commonwealth and world remembers the life of Her Majesty the Queen. Queen Elizabeth II died last week, with the likes of her son and heir King Charles III and Princess Anne by her side, drawing a somber end to a remarkable 70-year reign. Millions are expected to tune in for the historic occasion across the globe, highlighting the significance of Her Majesty's long and endearing reign. The ceremony, which will see the Queen laid to rest next to her husband Prince Philip, will be led by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, who for the second time in 2 years will lead a nation in mourning. Last year, following the news that Philip had died aged 99, Mr. Welby led an emotional service, heavily restricted as a result of the government's coronavirus pandemic guidelines. Images from the ceremony saw an emotional Queen sit silently on her own, as her immediate family joined her in saying goodbye to the popular Duke of Edinburgh. In tribute to the Prince, Mr. Welby was among thousands to pay his respects, describing Philip's unfailing support of his wife, and being an outstanding example of Christian service. Mr. Welby noted the enormous legacy the royal had left behind, describing the fortitude had shown to others, allowing the world to seek inspiration from his actions, recover and rebuild after COVID. Dr. Rose Hudson Wilkin, the Bishop of Dover, and then chaplain to the Queen, said his was a life well lived. As it emerged, Rochester Cathedral would ring its bell 99 times in tribute to the Duke. Dr. Hudson Wilkins said, "One cannot think of Her Majesty without thinking of the lifelong companionship they shared." Earlier this year, Mr. Welby praised the Queen for taking the action of sitting on her own during the proceedings, following the guidelines for funeral services at the time. According to the BBC, he said, "The clearest moment for me, the absolute summit of that, was that at the funeral of her husband of 70-something years, she sat alone. That was leadership, it was doing the right thing, it was duty, it set an example." Ahead of Monday's service, Mr. Welby paid tribute to Her Majesty, recalling what a precious person she was and how keenly we feel her loss. He continued, "Her late Majesty taught us much, if not more, about God and grace, both in words and in the actions that reinforced them, than any other contemporary figure." Discussing Charles' future as monarch, National World reported the Archbishop as saying he has the same ability to see the value of each person as God sees them. He added, that is his conscious understanding of people. Mr. Welby became the 105th Archbishop of Canterbury after taking on the role in 2013, following in the footsteps of his predecessor Rowan Williams. In a statement, Mr. Welby emotional concluded earlier in September, "The late Queen leaves behind a truly extraordinary legacy, one that is found in almost every corner of our national life, as well as the lives of so many nations around the world, and especially in the Commonwealth. It was my great privilege to meet Her late Majesty on many occasions. Her clarity of thinking, capacity for careful listening, inquiring mind, humor, remarkable memory and extraordinary kindness invariably left me conscious of the blessing that she has been to us all. In my prayers at this time I also give thanks for the marriage of the late Queen and His late Royal Highness Prince Philip. Theirs was an inspirational example of Christian marriage, rooted in friendship, nourished by shared faith, and turned outwards in service to others. May Her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II rest in peace and rise in glory."